It's an honor for me to present our next keynote speaker. She has been advocating on behalf of our planet for decades, working to address some of the most pressing ecological and social issues of our time. Dr. Vandana Shiva is a great activist. Time magazine said she was an environmental hero, and in 2010, Forbes magazine named Dr. Shiva as one of the top 7 most powerful women on the planet. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Vandana Shiva to the stage.
It's a pleasure to join Women for Climate. Even deeper pleasure to following on. They are the leaders. I remember as a 16-year-old, I was very active in the movement to protect our Himalayan forests. It was called Chipko. It meant to hug. And for half a century, I've hugged the trees, I've hugged the seeds, I've hugged the rivers. I hug our young leaders that are emerging all over the world, and I hug all of you. A short 200 years of arrogance born of the fossil fuel age, where we did not recognize that nature's billions of years of evolution and 600 million years of fossilizing plants and dead organic matter, turning it into oil and gas, that this should have been left underground. We thought we had the power to mine and frack and to totally change the rules of our existence on this planet. It created what I have called the metabolic disease of the mind. It created the disease of anthropocentrism, the idea that humans are superior to the rest of species, and the other species are just raw material to be exploited and destroyed and pushed to extinction. We are pushing 200 species a day to extinction, and all scientific evidence is showing us we are in the 6th mass extinction. And the young people are realizing that if we don't change things, we as human species will be part of this extinction because we depend on the web of life. We are not masters and owners and conquerors of the earth. We are her children. She is our mother. Mother Earth was robbed of her life with the idea of dead matter, of inert raw material to be exploited at will. And the measure of that exploitation is what is already being questioned by the future generations, the idea of progress, the idea of limitless growth on a planet with limits. All that GDP measures, and GDP has been made the most powerful number, legitimizing the destruction of everything that supports life. GDP's definition, and it was created during the war, it was created to mobilize resources and take what belonged to society and put it at the service of the military. GDP says, if you produce what you consume, you don't produce. So nature doesn't produce because she works in cycles. Women don't produce because they work in circular economies of generosity, of caring and sharing. The amazing creativity and production of women and nature was destroyed by that metabolic disease of capitalist patriarchy, of conquest over women, conquest over nature, conquest through the power of money and control. The young people are rising. Women are rising. And at one level, I see the Women for Climate gathering. We could call it a burial ceremony of the old paradigm. Because we don't have to destroy the old paradigm. It's destroying the very conditions of its continuance. If we are staring in the face of climate catastrophe, we are staring in the face of the sixth mass extinction. Every scientist is telling us that within a decade, we could lose all the bees and the butterflies and the insects that weave the web of life. We have exactly a 10-year period to make a transition. And this is the transition that will decide whether humanity has a future or not. Because if we carry on the old path of capitalist patriarchy, in 100 years, the conditions on this earth will not allow our continuation. Now, of course, some of the arrogance of control and power is letting a few people think that 1 million will escape to Mars. But Mars is not a living planet. Even the poor robot that was trying to explore minerals on the planet is dead today, the NASA robot. This is the living Earth, and we've already been told it's the only planet we have. It's the only planet we must and take care of. And the minute we shift to women's intelligence, women's knowledge, women's capacities, women's potential, we find that co-creating with nature, we can provide everything that humanity needs without destroying the earth. Over the last 30 years, I've built the movement, Navdanya, for the rights of all species, for the integrity of our seeds, our agroecosystems, our agriculture. We are producing 2 times more food than the country and the planet needs by just taking care of the earth, taking care of the biodiversity, taking care of the plants that feed the birds and butterflies. Because another illusion of separation that came from the metabolic disorder of mechanistic patriarchal thought of control was division, was separation. I did my PhD on the foundations of quantum theory that teach us non-separability. Ecology teaches us non-separability. Women's cultures teach us non-separation. We are interconnected. We are not divided. And diversity is our strength. Look at the beautiful diversity in this room. Diversity is not a disease to be afraid of. The entire technocratic attempt has to be a war on mugs. Kill the insects, no wonder they die. We decide, ground up, glyphosate, kill every plant, it's an enemy. Kill everyone who looks somewhat different, enemies. The othering of diversity has led to this war mentality and the extermination that's underway. Extermination of our farmers. 300,000 Indian farmers have been pushed to suicide because of debt, because of the greed economy. We work on suicide-free agriculture because we work on poison-free agriculture, which is the reason farmers are in debt. In the lead-up to the COP21 and during the Paris summit, we planted a garden in the city, all the movements. We weren't sure if the agreement would come through because even till the end, the last 6 hours were very uncertain. And we planted a garden with a new pact for the earth to say not only will we take care of you, we will solve in the process the problem that seems unsolvable, the problem of climate change. But the problem of climate change is man-made, and when I say man-made, I mean man-made. We've done agriculture for thousands of years without leading to emissions that can't be reabsorbed by the planet and her life. The trees we protected in Chipko absorb carbon dioxide. The lovely beans and pulses and lentils we plant have the amazing power to fix nitrogen non-violently without having to blast fossil fuels at 400 degrees. Same technique that Hitler used to make bombs and explosives is now used to make fertilizers and pretend we give the earth fertility. 300 times more deadly than carbon dioxide is the nitrous oxide that emits from nitrogen fertilizers. Industrial agriculture is accounted for with about 50% of the climate damage. The greenhouse gases of carbon dioxide, of nitrous oxide, of methane, are all results of a perverse agriculture model that at the end of it is starving 1 billion people and pushing the rest of us to disease, chronic diseases. The separation, the illusion of separation, has separated the health of the planet from our health, when it's one health. Everything that's making the planet sick is making us sick. Everything that is destroying the capacity of the natural world to renew, reproduce, regenerate is destroying our capacity to renew our societies, our economies. We've created a condition of a 1% rule, making 99% of the young people disposable, and they're rising. With all the other species are saying, we are not disposable, we will not be pushed to extinction, we will cultivate the future. And 75% of the planetary destruction is because of industrial farming. 75% chronic diseases because of industrial farming. The emptying out of our countryside and the poisoning of our countryside because of industrial farming. And yet, women have shown the way that we can feed the world, we can regenerate rural economies. We launched here at COP21 a greater Paris region becoming organic but relating to its food sheds around, rather than changing rules and laws and policies to import glyphosate-laden toxic food. You could be eating well while protecting the earth. The earth deserves it, and you deserve it. We are at this very, very vital moment of choosing between collapse and regeneration. Now, women have been regenerating all this time, and their capacity to regenerate was called non-work, that they don't work, because reproduction was defined as not working. But regeneration is innovation in the original meaning of the term. Destruction is not innovation. And in the process of regeneration, we have a chance if we make a transition in the next 10 years. It's not an accident that against all odds, the young women are taking the lead for this transition. And we have started a campaign, and I hope all of you will join, and I hope all the cities that are here will start taking this up, that beginning with our daily food, beginning with our eating 3 times a day, we create the nonviolent, peaceful revolution for regenerating the power of the earth, the power of women, the power of children. The earth is for all beings, we know that. It isn't for the 1%. Together as diverse species and diverse cultures, and through poison-free organic food and farming, which offer climate solutions and rejuvenate biodiversity, we have the creative power to stop the 6th mass extinction and the climate catastrophe. By joining hands, whoever we are, wherever we are, because we are not separated, we are interconnected, we are one. Every action by each of us is connected to actions of others everywhere else. And we can create an ocean of change and transformation, of ever-expanding, never-ascending oceanic circles that replace the pyramids that are crushing the base of the earth, the women and people and workers that support it. This is the call for Earth democracy. This is our duty as Earth citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Mo.